This presentation is all about an example of instructional material with the integration of stop-motion animation. Our learning competence is identifies the distinguishing features of folktales. The title of the story we use is The Cycle of the Sun and the Moon. Characteristics of folk literature. Vocabulary building. The video that will be presented is an example of a Manaba folktale entitled The Cycle of the Sun and the Moon. And now, let's start! Cycle of the Sun and the Moon. A long time ago, only the sun ruled the sky. His wife, the moon, stayed at home and tended the children and their farm. The moon loved her two children and went about the task happily. She do like fetching water, gathering gabi leaves, and digging camotes for supper. One cloudy day, when the sun was home, the moon had to go to the river for water. She crooned the children to sleep and called to her husband.
Dear husband, I am going to fetch water. Watch over the children, but do not go near them, because you know what will happen if you do.
And after this warning, she left. The son looked sadly at his children. He had never before been able to really know them or even get near them. Overcome with love and affection, he kissed them. To this horror, they shivered up before his eyes and crumbled to ashes. His anguish was great. He moaned and cried. Suddenly, he remembered what his wife had told him, which is not to touch the children. Not knowing what to do, he hid in the forest. Soon after this, the moon returned. A water jar was balanced on her head, and she carried a bundle of freshly cut gabi leaves in her arms. Laying down the jar and leaves, she returned to look for her children. Wild was her grief to find only ashes where her lovely brown babies and once been. Her scream and lamentation reaches her husband in the forest, and his pity overcoming spear, and then he went home.
My husband, why did you do this? Did I not tell you never to touch or even draw near our children? Why did you disobey me?
I couldn't help kissing them. They look so sweet. I have never seen anything so sweet before. Forgive me, O moon, forgive me.
But the moon would not be comforted. Her reproaches increased in intensity. In the end, the sun got angry.
Man God, did you say that I disobeyed you? How dare you think that you are superior to me? That you can order me what to do? Man God, slave!
He shouted.
I am nothing at all? Then my children are nothing too?
And with one defiant sweep of her arm, she scattered the ashes to the four winds. Horrified and enraged, the son seized the gabi leaves, threw them in his wife's face, and dashed out of the house. When he returned very late at night, his ill temper was gone. He regretted having shouted at his wife. He found the house dark and empty. His wife had fled, but the pinpoints of glimmering light in the distance told him where she was. for he knew the lights were his children following their mother in her flight. So started the endless cycle of the sun chasing the moon and the moon fleeing from the sun. The moon is forever with her children, the many tiny lights we call the stars. Now and then, a shooting star breaks across the path of the moon. It is nothing more than an attempt for her husband to make their children return to him. But the moon speeds away faster, sometimes leaving the sky altogether with only her star babies there. This happens when the mark of the goblets of the moon fades well, and she remembers the pain and the humiliation of her husband's anger when he threw the goblets to her face and called her Mangad, which means property, and Binatong, which means slave.